Hey guys, we're here finishing up a home remodel project. We're at the step of the project where we are installing appliances, and we're about to install an above an oven microwave. This can be a little bit intimidating, I think, if you haven't done it before, so I thought I'd walk you through the steps of the process and show you what it takes. Well, the first step, we're going to go ahead and get this box opened up. We'll pull out there's your rotating plate, instructions, filters. Go ahead and pull out this top styrofoam piece. Here's your hardware pack. We'll need these to install. And then depending on your installation, if you have an installation where you're actually bending out the wall, you'll need this little flange. In our case, we're actually not bending out the wall. We're actually just back bending into the house, so this flange won't be used. Now, what I like to do is take out this top piece of styrofoam that you pull out of the box, and I like to have the oven in place, and I just set the styrofoam right there. That way I can take the microwave out, I can set it on top of the oven, and I don't have to worry about cracking the oven glass. I used to actually do this with the oven out of the way, and it's actually easier to have it here and then just use it as a little platform, as long as you use that styrofoam, because you don't want to break the top of your oven. So we'll go ahead and pull the microwave out of the box. So basically, you got your microwave with your cord, which is going to go up through the bottom of your top cabinet here. On the back of your microwave is your bracket that we're actually going to secure to the wall that the microwave will hang on. So as a first step, I'm going to go ahead and remove this mounting bracket. Now, depending on the manufacturer or the model of the microwave, you'll have different types of mounting brackets. This particular one with Frigidaire just comes with a just this basic couple-inch tall mounting bracket that goes the width of the microwave. Some others that I've seen will have the bracket will actually be kind of a U-shaped. Which actually are easier because you can just kind of tuck that up to the bottom of the cabinet. This one you have to measure to make sure that it's in the right place. So your bracket will vary depending on the type of microwave that you have, but this is the one that we've got to work with today. So for right now, I'm actually going to take the microwave down, set it on the floor. So we can prepare the mounting bracket and the top cabinet. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the instructions. It's not actually the instructions that I need as much as the templates. So when you get your microwave, it's going to come with a set of templates that will show you where you need to drill your holes. So this is actually the top cabinet template, which we'll end up putting upside down to actually drill the hole for our cord, as well as the mounting bolts. And then this is our wall template. And this is our wall template that we'll actually tape to the wall, and it shows us, as you can see, there's kind of a picture there of this mounting plate, and that template shows you where to actually drill your holes for the mounting plate, which the microwave will end up hanging on. The mounting plate has these little kind of U-shaped mounting brackets on the bottom. So as this gets bolted to the wall or screwed to the wall, your microwave will actually clip down and actually set into these brackets. So that'll support the bottom of the microwave, and then we'll also have a few bolts that will come from the cabinet above that'll actually hold the top of the microwave. So between the two, the microwave will remain firmly in place. The instructions for this Whirlpool on the Spanish side, English side, the instructions show that you need to actually trim around this template to this dotted line. So that's the first thing that we're going to do to prepare this. And then once we do that, the other thing that we need to do is locate the center of the cabinet. I'm going to measure this. We're about 29 5/8. And so we're going to find the center, which is going to be, oh gosh, probably about 14 and what is that, 13/16, I think. So we'll go ahead and we'll find the center, we'll mark the center and verify it in both directions. All right, so we've got our center mark on the top cabinet. Okay, so I've trimmed the border of the template. I've also made a few holes. Incidentally, the easiest way to trim that, I just take a utility knife and I lay the template down on a scrap piece of cardboard and just trim along that. That's the quickest way to do that. And then while I'm doing that, I take the utility knife and I just cut a few holes in the template. Now what I'm going to do is take some masking tape, and I'm actually going to tape this template to the wall. Get a couple pieces of masking tape ready to go. And I'm going to, there's already a center mark on this template. I'm going to line that up with the center mark of the cabinet that I made a minute ago. And then once I get that tucked up to the bottom of the cabinet, I'll just take those pieces of tape, just put those right over the top of those holes that I cut. And that'll hold that template firmly in place for me. Okay, so now we can work on hanging this bottom bracket. What we want to do is ideally we want to try to get some screws into 2 studs if possible. Minimum of 1 stud. If we can't find studs in the hardware packet, they do provide us with toggle bolts also. If you're not familiar with the toggle bolt, basically the bolt threads through the wing there. You drill a hole in the wall and then that wing pops through the hole, and then when it pops through it can't come back out. So that's the other way that you can secure it. But definitely try to get into at least 1 stud, and if you can locate, try to do 2 studs. So I've got a stud finder here. So it sounds to me like there's a stud there. And I'm pretty sure there's 1 there. So I'm just going to, so right there. One time it's better if the oven's not in the way, but it's okay. Okay, so right there, we've got a stud. And there's 1 over on this edge as well. But that stud is out beyond our holes on our mounting plate, so let's check this way. In that case, we go beyond the mounting plate. So we have 1 that's going to be almost centered in the plate, so that's good. And then what we'll probably do is go ahead and we'll add at least 1 more. We might actually put 2 of these toggle bolts, that way each side is going to be well supported. So, Okay, so to mount this mounting plate, we're going to take a drill bit. We're going to pre-drill for this little lag bolt that we're going to put in here. And we're going to put that right on the, we're going to use one of the holes that's identified as a hole in the mounting plate. We're going to put it right on the one that lined up with that stud that we found previously. And there is in fact a stud there, so that's good. And then I'm also going to switch to a larger 1/2-inch drill bit. And I'm going to use that to put 2 more lag bolts in the wall. So I'm just going to pick a spot over here on the left side. Poke a hole there. I'll pick a spot on the right side, I meant to say. Pick a spot over here on the left side. Drill a hole. We'll get into some of the insulation in the wall, but that's okay. It's not a problem. And then one other thing that I'm going to do while I still have this template on the wall is I'm just going to put a couple little marks on the bottom to indicate where the bottom of that mounting bracket is. That'll just help to make sure we get it lined up properly when we go to actually mount it on the wall. So we can go ahead and take our template off the wall now. Now I've put a driver in my drill. In this case, this is looks like that's 11/32 is the size that fits that. You can do this with a large Phillips bit, like a number 3 Phillips bit as well. But the driver bit is definitely the best way to drive these in. All right, so we'll take our hanging bracket, and I didn't show you this, but I actually marked from that template the hole that lines up with the hole that we just drilled in the wall there. So we'll go ahead and insert that first lag bolt. I'm just going to barely start that. And the reason is I want to take my toggle bolts, and we need to line these toggle bolts up with the holes that we drilled. So that's there and there. The toggle bolt needs to go through the plate, and then this wing needs to thread onto the back. It's this one here. Okay, so once you get those toggle bolt wings on the back, you can go ahead and take those toggle bolts and you can push those through the holes in the wall. That was a 1/2-inch drill bit that I used for those toggle bolts, by the way. You have to have a pretty good sized hole for those wings to fit in there. Now, we're gonna go ahead and to get these toggle bolts tightened up, sometimes you need to have a little bit of back pressure on them. So what I do is just sort of pull back on the plate a little bit, and then take your drill and just real slowly start to wind those in. Don't go too fast because you can pinch your fingers in the back of the plate. Just kind of work them in side to side. Now this is where I'm gonna go back to those marks that I made previously on the bottom of that bracket, and this is how I'll make sure that I get this thing set up to the right height. So I'm gonna hold it. You won't probably be able to see this, but I'm holding it up to those marks that I made previously. And then once I get them lined up so it's nice and level, we'll go ahead and sink this one. Good there. And don't over tighten those toggle bolts. They're just pulling in the back of the drywall. There, it's good and snug. There, that's good and snug. Now we're ready to move on to the top cabinet. All right, so probably one of the most challenging things about installing an over the range microwave is doing this, trying to get the holes properly situated for the for this top cabinet template. And there you can see this template. So I put that up there off camera because, oh, there, see it wants to fall. It's really difficult to, if you have two people, this is much easier, but I'm here by myself. So I used more masking tape, taped it up there, and then basically I just took a marker, and there's two holes, and I've identified, I marked on the bottom of the cabinet that hole where the two mounting screws will go, and then I also marked to the bottom of the cabinet where I need to drill a hole for the cord. Now I'll go ahead and take this down, and I'll just show you before I actually put that up there. I just cut some small holes where it indicates the holes need to be drilled. That way it's easy to take a marker and just quickly put a mark through there. So we've got our mounting holes where our screws will go there, and then this is where we need to drill a hole for the outlet, or for the actual plug to go through. This is a 2-inch hole. It doesn't really need to be quite that big, but I'll see what size hole saw I have. But now that I have those marked, we're going to go ahead and drill holes in the top cabinet and get ready to actually hang the microwave. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and drill holes in the bottom of this top cabinet. We've got two bolts that are going to come down and support the front of the microwave, and then we also are going to use our hole saw bit and drill a hole back here where the cord is going to go through. We're using a 3/8 bit per the instructions. I'll switch over to our hole saw bit. If you're not familiar with a hole saw, basically this comes with a bit on kind of a shank, and it has this actual saw itself is removable, and you can put different size bits on there, different size cutters. Like here's a smaller one that's like a 1-inch. I think this one's 2-inch or a little bit smaller than 2-inch. So anyway, that's what a hole saw is. They're pretty handy. Okay. Now, made a big mess. We'll have to come back with a vacuum later and clean up the mess. Okay, so now we're going to go, and I will say this is highly recommended that you do this with two people. It's much, much easier with two people, especially this process here. Since I'm by myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two mounting bolts, and I'm not going to drop them all the way down through the hole in the top like that. So what I'm like that. What I'm actually going to do is kind of lean them to the side a little bit. That way they'll kind of hang up in the hole up there. And that'll give me the opportunity to put the microwave in. And then once I get it into place, then I can reach up with my other hand and I can wiggle those so that they drop down into the mounting bolts. I'm gonna have my drill up here handy so that I can zip those in, and I'll show you. So just to show you these holes here on the top of the microwave, this is what those mounting bolts go into. And then of course we've got our power cord, but just so you have an idea of where we're going with those. Now, one thing that I'd like to mention, I'm not doing this today because I don't have any washers with me, but sometimes because it's tricky to get that template held up to the bottom and get exact locations, I actually like to get big washers, and washers that can like 1.5-inch, 2-inch washers actually, that these mounting bolts can go through, and that way you can drill this hole on the bottom a little bigger, drill it like a 1/2-inch hole, and that gives you a little bit of flexibility on these so that if you've missed the exact drilling location. You've got some flexibility. That washer will hold that mounting bolt so that you've got plenty of strength there, but it just gives you a little bit of flexibility. I didn't pick up any washers, so I'm not doing that today. So we're just gonna count on the fact that I got the holes drilled in an accurate location. So let's go ahead and take the microwave. We're gonna set it up, get rid of our dust. So the way this goes in, basically we're gonna set the bottom in first, and then we're gonna tilt the top up. Once we get the top tilted up, then we're gonna drop these screws in and secure the top of the microwave. Okay, so the other thing we have to do is make sure we get the power cord. This is part of the reason why it's nice to have this actually sitting on top of the stove. What I can do now is take the power cord, I can pull it up through that hole and just sort of loop it up on top so it stays up there. And then we'll go ahead and pick it up and we'll set it on that bracket. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to quickly remove this plastic off the front. It's easier to do that now than when it gets tied up against the cabinet. It's always kind of rewarding to pull that plastic off. Okay, let's go ahead and lift it up into the hole. So tip it back. Let it rest on the mounting bracket and back. Okay. I'm going to grab the cord, pull that up out of the way. And we're tight against that side. Now, we'll go ahead and drop these bolts in. I'm going to just snug this one a little bit. Just enough to give me a hand on that side. Drop this one in. Alright, holes are in the right spot, that's good. Don't over crank those, it's just the bottom of the cabinet that you're pulling on. There we go. So now all we need to do, finish taking off the plastic. You gotta do the fun stuff. Put in your turntable, your little spinner ring first. And set your turntable. And then make sure too that you have, comes with these little grease filters. Don't forget to put those in. Those just slide into the slots down below. I'll do those in a second, but anyway, I won't bore you with the filters, but there you go. Got a microwave installed. This is a little bit of a unique installation here because we've got an exposed side. Ordinarily, a microwave is installed between two cabinets, so it's not actually an ideal installation, but just because of the way the kitchen laid out, that's the way that one needs to be installed. So, well guys, hopefully you found that video helpful. That's the basic process that you need to go through to install an above the oven microwave. As you can see, it's really not too difficult. If you do it with two people, I highly recommend doing it with two people. Don't try to do it by yourself. I've done enough of these that I can get it done, but it's a challenge. It's way easier if you have two people. You really shouldn't be trying to lift all that weight, and getting everything jiggled up there by yourself. You could probably hurt yourself, so don't do what I do. But the process is the same, just do it with two people. So anyway, hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw it down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer any questions that you have. If you like the video, do me a favor and like it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more home improvement tips. Take care, guys. Thanks.